Good morning. Good Erev Shabbos. Parshas Pinchos. Holding today Rambam Hilchos Teshuvah. It fits in with Tanya. There's a Teshuvah. Rambam Perek Zayin Halacha Aleph, and many of the halachas in this Perek some of them seem out of place, and to a certain degree it's lapella, and the Rambam waits till here to speak about it. But let's start off with Halacha Aleph, where he starts off with a statement, which is Hoyil Rishus Kol Adam Nesuna. Like, since this, he had just spoken about the last two prakim, about the ability for each individual to have bchira chavshus. And since that's the case, which he already spoke about, I mentioned two prakim ago in Perek Hey, that therefore a person can do teshuvah. He repeats it here again for some reason. Ishtadel Odom Lasses Teshuvah. A person should be mishtadel to do teshuvah. That lashon is strange. The word ishtadel is not fitting for the union of teshuvah. Teshuvah is a mitzvah. Even if you'll say that teshuvah, there's a shayla whether teshuvah is a mitzvah, vidu is the mitzvah. But many people hold that even the Rambam holds that teshuvah is a mitzvah, just that it's not the main point of the mitzvah, or not the culmination of the mitzvah, or not the mitzvah to be counted in Sefer HaMitzvahs, or Minyan HaMitzvahs. But definitely part of a mitzvah, at least. And then he brings his father's mefil, which is certainly a mitzvah. Mechatov, the linear cap of mechatov, and to shake himself off from his sins. Now here is a lashon he doesn't talk about till here. Now that word linear cap of mechatov is like strange, and the order is also out of place. As when he speaks about teshuvah, it's usually charata, kabbalah, and then vidui. Vidui is the last thing. Here, vidui is middle, and linear kapov is their last thing. So, okay, there's a mitzvah of teshuvah, right? We all know that. There's a mitzvah of teshuvah, vidui. But the Rambam doesn't start with that. Today, sheyamus, who bal teshuvah? He should die as a bal teshuvah, and therefore, v'yiskel l'chayim ha'olam. Now, he had spoken about what chayim ha'olam is, partially. He's going to speak more later. But because once you be zeichel chayim, since when does, first of all, you can say that about every mitzvah. You can write that to tefillin because you're going to die as a person who wore tefillin. And you'll be zeichel chayim haba. You can write about tzitzis. You can write about every mitzvah that. About teshuvah. Okay. I mean, teshuvah is a mitzvah, but even so. Then comes halacha beis. Loilam yira adam atzmai kilu neitalam. As a person sees himself as he's about to die. V'shema yamas v'shata. He might die, and if he dies, what's going to happen to him? He's going to still be a sinner. He should do teshuvah immediately because he might be dying. Do teshuvah because it's a mitzvah. These are magdimel mitzvahs. No, don't worry about death. Unfortunately, with events that have taken place lately, death is not something that people only worry about when they get older or when they get sick. Unfortunately, people can be sleeping in their bed, but that's not that's it's mamchish the Indian much more. But what's this whole thing? Now this is a Gemara. It's a Gemara in Shabbos. Gemara says, brings the Mishnah, and there it's a brayso says shuv yaim echad b'fnei misasra. And the Gemara tells you, do you know when you're going to die? Gemara says, no, every day. Because we don't know. Every day should be. The Teshuvah. There's a marshal there, but I don't want to get into that right now. Don't say, you know what, I'll do you when I grow older. That's the answer. The answer is because you believe the Teshuvah. Why wait? Mitzvah to the Teshuvah. I'll put on tefillin when I grow older. It's a mitzvah. Do it. And that's what Shlomo says. It's a Gemara. Okay. Then comes halacha gimel. This is like, to me, even more problematic than some of the others. Now, every word in these halachas seems straight. Seems that the Rambam is saying something. I want you to understand I'm saying something different. At least to me. Halacha gimel. I'll tell you, ain't Teshuvah element averis yesh ma'aser. Don't talk about only the big averis, news, gezel, neighbor. Now, he doesn't mean here ma'aser. That's clear. He means averis. The Torah says don't do. Hashem should tzarech adam loshu me'elu kach tzarech l'chapis b'dei Yisrael. Has to analyze his bad midas. Sheyesh le loshu min hakas, min ha'eva, min ha'kina, min ha'hustle. Medifas hamamin, v'akovid, medifas hamacholis. Hakol tzarech lachs v'tshuva. Yes, to tshuva on all those. And not only that, he says these sins are even worse. He don't get. He's not nif. He's not when he's nishka in them. He's not nif who kosher who live fresh, man. So again, if this is a din in Hilchas Teshuvah about what you have to do tshuva on, he waited till he finished the basic halachas Teshuvah, Perik, Aleph, and Beis. Then he waited till he discussed the schar of what's a tzaddik, mainly a Rosh, and so on. Waited till he spoke about Bechira. Waited till he told you that because of Bechira you should do tshuva because you're going to die. You come about tshuva, and now he tells you what you got to do tshuva about. He spoke already in Perik Aleph what you have to do tshuva about. He spoke about all the various different types of various chelkia kapara based on the Mishnah and Yuma, and he should have said, but I don't. Not only that, you have to do tshuva. You have to tshuva also on these things. Now the truth is, if you analyze a little bit, these things are not averis. Is it an aveira to want covet? If you don't, it's an edel chassidish atheist, of course. But the Rambam is not. I'm talking about deis midas. I'm a mid. I want money. I'm a mid. I like to eat. Skafia needs is an aveira that the Rambam should call an aveira. The Rambam's. Well, you're definitely not a Eidel Yid. You're not a person who's Eivid. He's not a person who's Raya. Who this is where we focus on the Teshuvah. But I'm saying, that doesn't belong here. Why not put it in the halachas of Teshuvah? This is sort of the sikum of what's the importance of Teshuvah. So where does it come in here? Comes halacha dalet. Now, after finally having encouraged us to do Teshuvah and Perik Aleph and a Perik Beis. And we already said that, we don't remember anything he does in Naskir and like Shum Davar, don't think that I'm not, that Teshuvah is not as Meruchet Mailas Tzadikim. No. That you get a big schar and they Makash Val Teshuvah aim them. Again, it's great. And if this were written at the end of Hilchas Teshuvah, it would also be great because that's like the Siyum, what he does many times. But if he's coming to encourage Teshuvah right in the beginning, in the Hilchas Teshuvah, he should say that. And the same thing with the next one. Yesterday was Sonui, and he goes on, and he it's unbelievable the shyness that he says. All the great things of Teshuvah. So the words of the Rambam here need an explanation. Now, there's one question that we started off with, which is why this? I don't know if I stressed it enough in the question. It seems that he's putting Bechira together with Hilchas Teshuvah. Bechira is together with everything in the Torah. You can't get any schar v'einish for anything without Bechira. So that question and some of the others, the Rebbe addresses in Chelek Lamed, Parshas Miketz, Sich and Beis. Never says it. very, very poignant and deep concept in the meaning of Teshuvah. First of all, he says, every mitzvah, of course, needs Bechira, but every mitzvah, without Bechira, the Eibush can tell you what to do. Teshuvah, he can't tell you what to do. Because the whole idea of Teshuvah is that I am regretting what I did. You can't regret if you don't have Bechira. If you didn't do it. And then it goes even further. The whole idea of Teshuvah is taking responsibility. Something that's you say Gadol in life, which today is one of the biggest challenges that people have, is to take responsibility for what they do. And that writes that as long as you blame anything, any exterior motives for what you're doing, there's not shy of need of Teshuvah. Because one of the Yeseidas of Teshuvah is that the Eibush says, and that's not possible. And therefore, Bechira Chavshis is a necessity for Teshuvah. And that's what he means, that when you do Teshuvah, you have to be a shtadel to do Teshuvah, meaning in a way that you don't blame anything else. And realize that you chose to do this. That's part of the Teshuvah, is knowing that I chose to do it. And Lashon Hara, we did it on our own. When you have that understanding, then it's Shaykh Teshuvah. This will explain a beautiful thing. The Rebbe doesn't say it in the Sikha, but it will explain it based on this concept. In Perek Vav, Perek before this one, Rambam writes about Teshuvah, that all these certain things hold them back. Teshuvah is like a shield for any bad things to come. It protects you. And then he writes the final Lashon. In other words, Bechira part. But what's this Kishem Shu? What was this coming of there? Because the Teshuvah helps, and you do Teshuvah because you want to do it. Oh, according to the Rebbe's part, it's beautiful. That in order to have Teshuvah, you have to the hair that the Aveir was Midaiter. As long as you're still blaming others for your sin, you're never going to get to Teshuvah. So that answers the connection of Bechira to Teshuvah. And the Rebbe seems to want to say that the Yishtadel, which bothered us, I don't know if I stressed it enough, Yishtadel is not usually a Lashon. The Rebbe doesn't talk about that part. But Yishtadel is usually a Lashon of Lifnim Mishuras Hadin. Whenever he brings Yishtadel, he brings it on things that you're not really mechuyev to do. And I would say Yishtadel is more on the feeling that I am responsible, and that I'm the one I don't have any side. Christ. You still need a beer on why he used that word that's so that lacks in chiyuv. Again, I want to suggest something here that's a bit mechudishdik, and not that I generally shy away from chidush, but other than the fact that the Rambam's words seem to sort of jump out of the page at you, that there's something unique being said here. I don't have any real proofs to what I'm saying, but the words of the Rambam seem to lead you to such a conclusion. And obviously not that it's really halachically relevant, but it is somewhat, of a chiddush. When we go back and analyze the halachas of Teshuvah in Perek Aleph and Perek Beis, there is the concept of Teshuvah there is about doing Teshuvah from Averos. An Aveir. You Mechal Chas V'Sholom Mechal Shabbos. Do Teshuvah from Mechal Shabbos. Rambam's classic description of Ezohu Bal Teshuvah, famous description of the Rambam, Ezohu Bal Teshuvah is somebody that the same exact event takes place, and you are in the same situation with the same passion, the same desire, and you overcome it, and you correct. The sin, that sin has been undone. and elevated, whatever that I'm going to talk about, but the way everything explained in Chassidus and so forth. In other words, Teshuvah is, I did something wrong, and now I am undoing that. I am taking that aspect of what I did and undoing it. That's what Teshuvah is in Perek Aleph and Perek Beis. And that's the V'yoid Olav. And if you look over there, the Lashon Teshuvah is come out always on Lashon Yochid. And im over Adam al Achas Mehen, he writes there. And the whole thing, he's not going to go back to this sin. It's general, the L'shein is there, Allah Shin Yochid. And the truth is, that's what, you do something, you come back, you do. Very often when the Bisman Shabbat something, there should be a carbon on that sin. Because you may have done many of the same sins, mitzvahs hasei, do a bunch of mitzvahs hasei, but they are case specific. I did this, I undo it. And again, that's why I bring the classic case of the Rambam of Teshuvah. That's what he says, when you grow older and you don't have that passion, you don't have the ability to recreate the same environment that caused the first sin, he calls it you're about Teshuvah, but that's not Teshuvah Gemara. Which is somewhat strange because here he's talking about, therefore you should do it before you die, which sounds like they're talking about that when you're older, right? Okay, next halacha he says that you should always consider yourself that you're ready. But the first halacha sounds like he's telling an older person, go to Teshuvah because you may die. So again, what I'm saying is that the real din of Teshuvah is about doing it. A person has something Aveira, comes to a point where he literally has charata on that Aveira, and there's a Kabbalah not to do it, and then it says Vidui, and all the different things that the Rambam explains. And that's the order. Vidui is the final step where I express, the Rambam says, he says, but deeper, that's what she's been thinking. I did this, I regret it, I don't do it again, and finish. Perhaps. Perek Zayin is talking about a different thing. If you look at Perek Vav, he was talking about to the point, a person who's such a chaytei that we take away his bechira even for Teshuvah. According to Rambam, there's a state where you can take away the bechira that he won't let him do it. Okay, that's a unique case, but those are the cases he's aiming for. He was coming off. So, Ulai Perek Zayin is not the Teshuvah on a specific sin. It's the Teshuvah on the person. The person, Basha to Teshuvah in the last minutes of his life, on his life. A change. He changes himself. And that's the repeat. In other words, this is a bigger chiddush than what he said in Perek Hey, where he spoke about Bechira. Besides the Bechira of Perek Hey, Bechira Perek Hey means I can do Teshuvah on anything. I did it in Perek, I can still undo it. The Teshuvah of Perek Zayin is about somebody who is mushkabra v'risha. A life full of, the person gone through a life, there's many things he's done, things that he never even paid attention to. People that he's hurt. Words that he said, things that he did that were like second nature to him, and he didn't even think about it. Oh, so you think you're a person that's Pasha lived Reiv Yamav in a certain way. Who says that could be changed? Of them taped on the Ram Betagdama. Yeah. Yes, you can change yourself totally. Again, contrary to public opinion today. You can turn yourself around. There's a Welts Loschen, an Altenfeld, Kemenisch lernen tanzen. That's the Rambam, it's not true. You can't learn Alts. So, Here the Rambam is talking about a Russia in the Rambam's language of Russia. Roiv, Chatoim, not the Alter Rebbe's Russia. And it's a tshuva on my life. I'm not sure that that's a chiyuv. That's an advice. That's a yishtadel. Why? Because that's not the din of tshuva, the general din of tshuva. It's mistake from that din. I don't know. I'm not. That's where I'm a bit hesitant, more than anything. I don't think this is that din of tshuva. If it is, it's a new din of tshuva. And okay, so if that's the case, we're talking about changing you as a person. You're becoming a different person. Who's the person? You're becoming a Baal Tshuva. So the order of the Rambam is good. First, the Tshuva vidui. It's a new lotion. Get rid of yourself. Get out of your sin mode and change. So this doesn't require a situation where you re-encounter the same situations that he said in the beginning, Bali on the Aveira, and he could have done it. No, we're talking about a general reshift in my life, in the person's life. You're changing who you are. You're changing a mahus of a chayt to the mahus of a Baal Tshuva. And that's why, where does that come from? It comes from this is a reward issue. In Indian, it's a reward that's a heilig reward. It's about being able to be you have an achrayus at the end of your life to think of that. Even though Chassidim don't talk in those terms so much. But that's the Rambam. That's what it's about. In thought, that's why it's because the whole tshuva is about changing who you are, and that's what you can do right before you die. Now, in the Gemara, and then I'm Malacha Beis, that even though you're a youngster, live with the fact that you may die. Don't walk around thinking it ain't gonna happen. If you're sleeping in Miami in a hotel in a $500,000 condo, and it can happen just as well. Come on, let's fly. So that's the idea. Now here's again. This is also part of this Kiddush part that I'm a little hesitant, but I'm going to say it anyway, as a possibility. This, a person can do tshuva on midas lois anytime you want, but that's not really what tshuva is about. Tshuva is not about midas lois. The halakha of the Torah of tshuva. The mitzvah of the Torah of tshuva is about aveiros. You're over an aveir, over aveir, at the shav. Dalet chelkei kapara. It's about kapara. It's about tshuva. Now we're talking about changing who you are. Don't think that mahus is only aveiros. Mahus is who you are. What kind of midas you have. It's part of your mahus. And therefore, all these things that are not necessarily aveiros, redifas, hakavod, it's a midah. It's not a good thing in life. And the Rambam explains it could lead to things, but it's not itself. Who said it led to anything in his life? Vasachim was some lip covered, and they live a good Jewish life, an elegant life. They're not like aveiros. They're vaket. Sometimes mitzad avos hakovet, they're makbid, even in their home to act in a way that's beyond, so that nobody around them can see. I say that because I knew such people. But the point of the matter is, there's a level. These are none of them are but midas ois. Oh, of them, different story. You want to get to the higher level, you want to get to the real chaya, you have to change yourself. So that's why he focuses here on the reward, because that's what it's about. And that's the order of his says. Oh, now that we're talking about there was never a shaila in Perek Aleph and Beis. If you do tshuva, you're done. It's no, you had an Averia or tshuva gemura about tshuva. You didn't do the Averia. It came to your way. You couldn't do it the same way, but you overcame it. Yeah, waldik. Now we're not talking about anything. You're towards the end of your life, and basically you're thinking about but you're just gonna say, I want to change. Now your change is only a change because you're dying. Yeah. So a person can say, this, you can't compare it to tzaddik, right? Name that person changes and the Eibush accepts Teshuvah and all the good things that the Rambam explains over there. And that's what he says in the end, the Malacha, hey, Kol HaNeviim Kulam Sivu Yala Teshuvah, Vein Yisrael Negolim Ele B'Teshuvah, K'Rafticha Teresh Shev Yisrael Lasis Teshuvah, Sev Geluson Miyadei Negolim. This is a different Teshuvah. This is a Teshuvah of people changing their lives. And that brings the pasuk that you're going to change. You're going to be a different person. People are going to change. There's going to be a ruach, a tara that comes over the people, and there's a change. That's what he's talking about here. Kapanim ulai yesh leimar came, and they were still helping. We should be talking in these days, in the days that we are experiencing and developed. Of the tragedies that we've experienced in the last few since like the Aimah. You can go even further back since the pandemic and the Eins nach anderen, but these should be a hofchu, and they all should be part. The Yom Sosel Simcha, they should be part of Ein Yisrael Nivol Mel B'Teshuvah Kvaraticha Teir Yisayif Yisrael Las Teshuvah V'Sev Gelos and Yad Hein Nevolim. So we're already past that. That I've said many times. You have to be zeicha. We should be zeicha immediately to the Gula Mitzvah Shleima B'Karat Mamash. Sei gesund und einen guten Erev Shabbos. Atzlocha Rabu Mefloger.